Welcome, Guthrie Sports Page Television. Chris Evans with the ball coach, Rafe Watkins. Coach, congratulations on the big win over Shawnee, 35-17. But before we get that, congratulations to the 9th grade, 8th grade, and 7th grade. All went 23-0 and all came away with Suburban Conference championships.
They did a fantastic job this year. Our junior high coaching staff and our kids were so proud of them. The 7th graders had a tough game in the finals against Carl Albert. Went into overtime and won 8-6. Our 8th graders beat Noble 20-6 and had a couple of touchdowns called back. They're the only ones that wasn't really very close game. And then our 9th grade went down and had a great game at Chickasha with Carl Albert and won 14-12. Was down 12-0 at halftime. Was able to come back and win in as good a freshman game as I've ever witnessed. I mean, it was just it was two very good teams going at it, and I was really proud of our kids the way they never gave up. Carl Albert jumped out 12-0 at the very first and made it look easy, and then our kids bowed their neck and got after it, and I was very proud of them. Held them on 4th down with 16 seconds left in the game.
It's going to be hard to kind of gauge what they are from 3 to 4 years from now, but this is definitely a good building block.
Oh, it's a lot better to see them undefeated than it is to be winless,
Right.
So, yeah, I like what we've got coming. You can't start throwing state championships at them because there's a lot of growing to do and a lot of getting better. And, there's going to be some kids that won't grow anymore, and then there's some other kids that's going to get a lot bigger than what they are. So it's hard to tell. But if what I've watched out of those three groups, the work ethic is very good. And if they'll come up here and work for us, we're going to be very good.
Jays won at 35-17 on the varsity squad, and that's the most points you give up all season long, but it's probably one of the better teams you've seen all season long, too.
Well, offensively, without a doubt. They always stress us a lot. Shawnee has a great offensive scheme, and year in and year out, as great as Carl Albert is, we worry a lot more about the offense that Shawnee will put on the field against us every year, just due to the fact that they get some matchup problems. Of course, when you have a Brett Davis on your team that can go everywhere, he's going to give everybody some matchup problems. And I thought for the most part, we gave up some big plays, but they never just had one of those 15-play drives to where we couldn't stop them. I mean, they hit the little rocket play, and Davis made some moves and stuff and got down there, and then we had to start the second half. We gave them the short field with the interception on the screen play. They only had about 30 yards to go on it, but for the most part, we gave up a lot of yards, but we didn't give up a lot of points, and that was the main thing that just held them out of the end zone.
Moving on to this week, Coach, Capitol Hill comes into town here for Friday night's game, Trick or Treat at the Rock, and tough situation with 19 players, but I guarantee it's probably 19 players can't wait to get to the Rock to suit up.
Well, that they're dedicated. If there's only 19 or 18, whatever it is of them right now, and the poor old kids, they've won one ball game. They won the second game of the year against U.S. Grant. I think it was like a 26-24 type ball game. You feel for those kids, but I admire them a lot and respect them. They're out there for the love of the game. They don't have a lot of support from the school. They get out there and give it everything they got every week, and you got to admire that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of heart, and that's loving the game of football, and so I have a lot for their coaching staff and themselves.
How does it get better, Coach? Because U.S. Grant's going to Tulsa Union in this same type of situation. How does a team, how do the numbers improve? How does the school get behind them? How does it all work out?
Well, at some point, the administration has to step in behind them and do like what the Tulsa inner city schools have done and improve the facilities. Every one of the Tulsa public schools has turf now, and they've redone their weight rooms, and they give them something to be proud of. I would guess that probably Grant and Capitol Hill has little or no weight room at all. They play at Spiegel. It's in a desperate need of some help. And I think it was in the paper today that where the Grant coach was talking about going up and playing Union. It starts with your youth programs. That's what we're so blessed with right here. We've got great coaches and programs starting up in our 3rd grades here and going through the 4th and 5th and 6th. And so they understand a lot of football before they ever get to 7th grade. And what they were talking about in the paper down there, that's talking to some of Grant's starters in the paper, and I'm sure it's the same way at Capitol Hill. They never play football until they're probably freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
And because it's just not pushed in the junior highs, so it's got to start at the lower levels. They got to get some type of youth program going into that area, and then it's got to carry on through the junior highs, because until it starts where those kids are playing from at the very latest 5th grade on through and then into the junior high ages, it's going to be tough for them to just show up at high school and expect to win.
19 or 69 kids, you got to get ready for football.
That's right, and they're not without talent. They have 4 kids that I told you earlier today that could play for anybody in the conference. They could play for us. They could play for Shawnee, Carl Albert, whoever it is. They've got 4 outstanding athletes, and there's some other kids that's pretty good too. But they've got a tight end that on another team, he'd be a star. His name's Rafe Watkins. He's very impressive. We saw him at passing league this summer, and he's got soft hands and, again, a big old frame, and if he get the right weight program and stuff, he could weigh 270 and still be thin looking. He's a special player for him. And their quarterback is very good. He's a little lefty and can throw the ball well. Got a good little young tailback and a good young wide receiver. And, again, those 4 kids, I think, could start for any team in our conference. Maybe not the positions that they're at, but you could find a place for them.
Of course, a booster club would help them, and the Guthrie Booster Club playing a big role here in the next couple of weeks. Of course, you got this week with the Can Drive, and also a bus going up to Noble next week.
Yeah, that last night at our booster club meeting, they said that they were having a cruise bus to take down to Noble. I think it's $20, and you contact them. That also includes your meal. I think you get a burger, a drink, and chips, and then also a seat on the charter, and for $20, which is not bad if you don't want to fight that headache of traffic going through there, the interchange from 40 to 35 in that area. So, that's not too bad of a deal.
Coach, appreciate your time as always.
All right, thank you.
For head coach Rafe Watkins, I'm Chris Evans. Thank you for watching Guthrie Sports Page Television.